Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Global Post-Valentine Floral Summit. Sounds pretty majestic. We're excited to have everybody here. We're excited that you can give us some of your time, anxious to hear your feedback, and let's dive in and get started. Time is money. So there are many of you who are new to us. I want to take a minute and just fill you in about who's hosting this webinar today and what we're all about. My name is Tim Huckabee. The company I own and have been running for 25 years, we're proud to say, is called Floral Strategies. We're the only company in the entire world, the galaxy, the universe, that has the sole purpose of helping you retail florists, regardless of your size, location, length of time in business, to simply make more money, to run your business more prosperously, more efficiently, more profitably. And we are really happy to have you with us. We're anxious to hear how your Valentine went. I'll share some of my stories as well. I also want to take a moment and share with you an exciting new service that we are launching. It is called Team Meetings. And the bottom line is that most flower shops that I've been working with over the past 25 years, again, regardless of size, location, length of time in business, often will say to me, yeah, we'll kind of do a group huddle before a holiday, but we don't do meetings. We don't do quarterly meetings. We don't do regular meetings. We know we should. We know the advantages, but for one reason or another, we don't do it. So what our team devised and what we launched this year is a new service called Team Meetings, where essentially I become your sales manager. We have 2 meetings a month with your team from a distance. It's done by webinar, but it's dedicated to just you and your staff. We talk about the issues and dynamics in your store. We talk about holidays when they're coming up. We talk about daily activities. We have games. We have interaction. We listen to mystery shopper calls. It's a fun, dynamic way to get the team involved. And it's a very cost-effective way of essentially having the benefits of a sales manager, but without having that hefty hit on payroll. So we'll reach out to you with further details about it. We have a limited number of openings available because it's kind of labor intensive, but we definitely like to get you on board with us. All right, this is an interactive webinar. We invited you to join us today so we could hear what you have to say. So we want you to get involved. And there are a couple of ways that you can do this. One is you can click the little icon next to your name. There's a microphone. Everyone is muted right now. We have far too many people with us to have an open mic. It will be bedlam. Trust me, I know this for a fact. And many of you have probably experienced it. You're on a Zoom meeting and somebody inevitably leaves their mic open and we hear the babies crying in the background and everything else going on. So everyone's muted right now. You're gonna have a couple of options. One will be you can click on the little icon that looks like a hand. You can raise the hand, and then Don, who's part of our team, will unmute you, call you out and say, hey, Christy, I unmuted you. Hey, Tiffany, you're unmuted, and you can talk and share your 2 cents. We're trying to keep this to half an hour. We realize that you're busy. We're not gonna have a chance to hear from every single person. Therefore, what I encourage you to do also, when you have a response or you have a nugget of information you want to share, type it in the chat box. That's all recorded. That's all going to be made part of the final report that we'll send to you. So even if we don't get a chance to call on you, or you might not want to talk, I get it. Sometimes people feel a little intimidated in this environment. I totally understand that. If you feel more comfortable, no pun intended, playing the wallflower, by all means, do share your feedback and type in your information there. So that said, what I want to do is just get some feedback. I have specific questions we're going to ask you, but does anybody want to share in general some feedback, just as a broad stroke, how this holiday went? Were you surprised? Were you disappointed? In general, how did it go? I can tell you that part of our team, that includes Don, and includes me, we're here in New Mexico. I'm still actually on site, and it was a super busy holiday. I will share our little bits and pieces as we go along. We were surprised a little bit about Super Bowl Sunday. It was quieter than we thought. In general, it was a good holiday. I will further add that here we are Wednesday afternoon, and we've had very, very few complaints, which is great. And I think we all kind of bite our lip and cross our finger thinking we've sent out this dramatically increased volume of orders And proportionally, mathematically, it means we're more likely to hear more complaints, but so far so good. A couple of broken roses. I've ruined 1 or 2 marriages because I sent pink roses instead of red ones. But aside from that, things have been going well. But those of you who do want to maybe give us kind of a nugget overview, by all means, like I said, raise your hand. Don will unmute you if you want to type in a message. Don will read 1 or 2. There are far too many to read them all, but let me pause. If anybody wants to kind of sum up their holiday in a statement or an observation. I don't see any hands going up. Don will let me know if any messages are typed into chat. Remember, people, you're not here to be a voyeur. You're here to participate. The only way that we really get a lot of takeaway from this is that we hear what happened to you, because we have such a diverse group. Little stores and big ones, old ones, new ones, rural, suburban, urban. We've got people from all over the globe participating. So by all means, do share your thoughts, your feedback, and your experience. Okay. I'm going to get into the more.
I have Kayla with her hand raised.
Okay, go ahead.
Kayla, let's hear from you.
Hey guys.
Hey,
so my Valentine's is actually up over last year by quite a bit, which I was surprised. So we had a lot more like large orders of roses, like 2-3 dozen orders than we have in the past, which I thought was interesting.
Good. And the gods were smiling down upon you because being in New England, you could have woken up to a snowstorm. So I know the weather was.
I know it was snowing. I was shoveling at 4 a.m. to get out to come to work.
Oh, okay.
And it was supposed to be a dusting, and it was not a dusting.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'm glad you made it through, and come back and share some more information or more details as we go further. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Kayla. I'm going to get into some of the specific questions I wanted to pose to the group. So the way that we have this structured is I'm going to throw out a topic, and again, let us know what happened in your store, surprised or otherwise, good, bad, or otherwise. So let's talk first about sales. So Kayla just shared sales. Anybody see a dramatic sales increase? Did anybody see a sales drop? Anybody surprised about sales in general? Were sales up? Were sales down? Were sales flat? I know there are a lot of variables at play. For us here in North America, we had Super Bowl Sunday to contend with. There's also kind of the spectrum of having it on a Sunday. So I'll come back to you, Don. Do we have any hands going up?
Yeah, we have Lisa with her hand up. So why don't you go right ahead?
Hi, Lisa. So what was the story with your sales? Up, down, flat? And remember, people, if you're doing this on your store computer, if you don't have a microphone, we can't hear you.
All right. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Yeah, I worked really hard at with pre-sales of trying to push Thursday, Friday deliveries, and that worked out pretty well. We had our Monday was obviously the busiest delivery day, and then Friday was the other busiest day. What I was really surprised about is that I didn't really have anybody complaining about the price of flowers, but I had a few people griping about having to pay a delivery fee. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. And Lisa, for you and everybody moving forward, do us a favor, give us the name of your store and tell us where you are to help put things into perspective.
Yeah, sorry. I'm with Candlelight Floral and Gifts in Wayzata, Minnesota, which is west of the Minneapolis-St. Paul. We're in the Twin Cities metro area.
Okay. Thank you for that. And we are going to talk specifically about delivery later, but that's interesting little nugget to hear about. More than one customer complaining about delivery. Okay, thanks, Lisa. Don, do we have another hand up?
Not a hand, but I've had a couple of interesting comments typed in. Overall, people are saying that they were much busier than expected. Some of them, Tim says he was up 35% in sales over last year. Interestingly, too, I've had a couple of florists, and I see it typed in here a couple of times, telling me that it was kind of slow Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then come Monday, it was just absolute insanity with everybody at the last minute buying.
Okay, interesting to hear. And again, that's kind of the unpredictability of our business, I heard so much strategizing going on. How much of a factor will Sunday play into it? People dialing back the last time Valentine's Day fell on a Monday, trying to figure out, okay, we weren't in a pandemic at that point. We are now. How does that factor into it? So in general, what I've heard, because we also, I know many of you are in our Facebook group, we've got over 5,000 florists in our private Facebook group, the Idea Exchange. We did hear through there and through other channels that sales were up. So that is that's encouraging. I'm going to put forward another hot topic that I'm curious about. What about customer service? Specifically, how do you think your staff held up? How do you think customers were responding to when there were complaints? Do you think they took it, were they reasonable when they called back to let you know that they got pink roses instead of red ones? When they realized that the balloon wasn't attached? When we maybe delivered on the wrong day? Because it's inevitable, even the best one flower shops are going to make mistakes at the holiday. So I'm curious to hear your feedback. Do you think customers were reasonable? And before I go to Don, I will say that in general things went very, very well here in New Mexico. The one guy who had a problem, and it was long, and I can't even get into it here, but he was a CPA, and he was just adamant. He was calling every 10 minutes, and he wrote this long, kind of lengthy, rambling complaint about how we, you know, was just about ruined his life and his marriage. So I guess he was the one oddball that no matter how much customer service we slathered on him, there was no going back, there was no forgiveness. But I think we all have that one of those every holiday. All right, any hands going up, Don?
Nope.
Anyone typing anything in? Because I'm sure that everyone dealt with some customer service issues thus far.
Only one has commented on that and said everybody that had problems were reasonable about them.
Okay.
I think, you know, we're hearing it as I talk to people too. You know, I'm on the phone all day, every day, and as I talk to people, they're telling me customers for the most part have been, you know, pretty understanding. They know we're all having a hard time, and they've been pretty understanding for the most part.
Okay, let's move on to some more specific customer complaints. What kind of complaints did you get? This is kind of a little bit of a riff on the last one, but I want to dig a little bit deeper. Do you have any examples of customers that you felt were being just ridiculously melodramatic, customers who really kind of rocked your world? Because, you know, we all put in long hours at the holiday, and toward the end and even after the holiday, when, you know, we have somebody who's kind of pooping all over us, so to speak, it can hit home, and it can hit hard. Does anybody have any anecdotes that they want to share? You know, for everyone's benefit, maybe we get a giggle out of it, or for that matter, how you and your team diffused somebody who was completely over the top. I can't believe with all these florists that none of you had a customer who went from zero to drama in 60 seconds.
I had two hands go up, but they went down again. Pat and Christy, if you have something to say, yeah, let's have Christy say something to us. Go right ahead.
So we really only had one complaint, and
Okay.
it was a delivery on Friday, to which we did deliver. We dropped on the porch because he said to do so, but apparently we delivered to the rent house next door versus his mother's house. So he called and was rather, I guess you could say, hateful to Alice.
Unpleasant.
Yes. And it was only a $40 charge. So I, of course, gave him his refund. Then we went to the house, saw the delivery, and then he called and backtracked and said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry that I showed my ass to y'all. I can't believe I talked to y'all like that. Please accept my apology, and I'll pay for the flowers."
That's nice.
He called 10 minutes before we closed, too.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that story, ladies. And it is nice, and I've had a couple of those as well. I'm sure we all have stories where a customer kind of comes into the dialogue with guns blazing, and then realizes later that they were being over dramatic, or they realized that maybe it wasn't quite the problem or the severity that they anticipated. Let's move on to another topic. Let's talk about the competition. So here in New Mexico, or where we are in Albuquerque, there's another flower shop who is not nearly as big as us, but definitely would be the next contender. And everybody has competition. That's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just the way that the world works. Interestingly, we were kind of sweating it here on Monday afternoon as our supply of ready-made arrangements was dwindling very fast, and customers were coming in and shopping quicker than we could replenish them. We were down a few design staff, and the owner was kind of fretting that, oh my gosh, customers are going to come in here and they're just going to be so upset, and we're going to throw them into the arms of the competition. Meanwhile, we found out the competition had like a big piece of like folding table size brown paper across their front door sold out. So they were either busier than anticipated, they didn't buy enough product, but they flat out sold out. We didn't bother to look at their prices. I know that's an interesting conversation. I'd like to hear if somebody was gauging their prices solely on the competition. If you felt like, I don't give a hoot what the competition's doing, we're going to do what we want to do. So let's get some feedback from you. Any messages, Don? Any hands going up?
I had one, a couple. One of our customers, this is Lisa. Lisa says one of our competing floors stopped taking orders on Tuesday the 9th and actually referred customers to her the rest of the week, which is really nice.
Yeah, that is interesting. We've also talked about, and you've seen it, there's a number of florists posted in various Facebook groups who opted out of Valentine's Day for whatever reason or another. So that's interesting. So that's a nice story that your competition was recommending you. Anybody have any stories of their competition doing something devious, their competition maybe underpricing them? Those stories are always interesting to hear. Again, people, you're here to share, not just to listen. We want to hear what happened in your world, because what we want to do is take what we learned from this as a bit of a blueprint to use toward Valentine's Day next year. Also, I've always said, kind of my tired old joke, that Mother's Day is Valentine's Day with better weather. And I feel a lot of what we learned here can be carried over into Mother's Day. So we're also going to give you the chance to reply to any of these afterwards. You might have a memory that flashes a minute after this webinar finishes, and that's okay too, so you can share afterwards.
Yeah, Tim, we had one fellow said that the supermarket chain in his area was advertising, skip the florist and add roses to your grocery delivery. He said it ultimately proved to be a non-issue, but I went in Publix and they had just millions and millions of bouquets of roses and balloons and everything. So they're definitely out to compete with florists.
Yeah, and competition is what makes us better. I saw quite a few postings of angry florists showing pictures of roses for sale in the big box stores, or people on the corner, kind of feeling like that's wrong. It's competition. That's what the world is about. Everyone has competition, and competition just makes us do our job better. So let's continue on, because I also want to give a little bit more open mic time if somebody has a specific story that they want to share. Let's talk about the team. I will say here in New Mexico, the staff did a great job. There are people who are definitely well on in years and just powered through all of this hard physical labor. We didn't have any meltdowns. The team was really on point. Did a great job. Interestingly, on this point, and this is kind of a hot topic, I think, in the industry, the website that we use here has the ability to collect a tip from a customer, and they turn that feature on, and they're doing payroll right now. And without divulging too much information, I can tell you that they put all of this into a kitty, and they're dividing it equally amongst all the team members, the design team, the sales team, the delivery team, because they all played an equal and vitally important role in getting the holiday done. As they're processing payroll, they each earned over a $2.50 per hour bonus. So you can imagine the money. So yeah, something to consider, and we'll talk about that in an upcoming Profitable Florist Club meeting and some of the other things that we do at Floral Strategies. But so that's my take. But anyone else have anything they want to share about their staff? Did anybody have anybody quit? Anybody have a breakdown? Anyone come up with a creative way to get additional team members? Any hands, Don?
No, sir. Not yet.
Okay, nobody did this on their own. You all had staff. So anything you did with your staff, any way you thanked your staff, anything that your staff did exceptionally?
Couple of questions. Christy, I think you had mentioned putting like a fireman to work. She actually had firemen delivering for her. Chanda wants to know, do a lot of people do the tip thing? She says she's curious about that.
Yeah, if anybody else on this workshop has done it, by all means share. Chanda, you and I can talk separately, or we'll bring it up in our next Profitable Florist Club, but it's definitely becoming more of a trend. Any hands going up, Don?
Yeah, let's have Jason talk to us.
Hello, everyone. How are you? So yeah, I am
Good.
Jason Robertson with JS Flowers here in Dallas, Texas. And about the tips, I've experienced a numerous of things with the tips. Most of the time, with the in the industry that we serve, we're serving our guests in our neighborhoods, and they know who we are, and they know how hard we work. And I have experienced a lot of times with the checkout at the end of the checkout online that the customers are happy to leave a tip. They're happy to know that they're keeping you going. They're happy to know that you're still in business. You made it through the pandemic. And I'm gonna say honestly, this year was harder than the years last year of making it through the pandemic. So I think the tips definitely helps with letting the customer, just let them decide how they want to be a help to your business. Because again, we do know that the local farm markets and the grocery stores are selling flowers, and we have to remind ourselves why we're in business. We're in business to sell a service. We're not selling flowers, we're selling a service. So when they go to check out, they're going to honor the service at checkout with the tip. And then that's how you can say thank you to your employees for all the hard work. And, you know, another way to just say, hey, you're doing a good job. The community recognizes it, we're recognizing it, and let's just keep it going. And it just kind of help smooth things over with conversation with employees, because we do have employees now that are over expecting a small business, a small, you know, flower shop to continue to kind of compete with other businesses and as far as income. So I think the tips overall adds another valuable way to just kind of enhance the employees' income, to say, hey, we do tip shares, whatever you guys do, we always offer it, you know, in the store and online, you know.
Yep,
So
perfect.
you can
No,
enhance
I agree.
it's a really
I
good thing.
agree. Thank you, Jason. All right, if anybody else wants to share stories, you can type in your notes, and we definitely will continue this conversation beyond today's webinar, because I know it's something new for many of us. It's something that you have different opinions upon, but I've got lots of experience firsthand and with many flower shops doing this, so we can talk about that. Let's talk about prices. And again, I will share that we raised the prices here considerably. And for those of you not aware, New Mexico is a gorgeous state, but it's also not a very wealthy state. It's a lot of agriculture here, and it's a conservative market, and we've kept the prices low here for for a long time. But we raised the prices, and I've been here since the 5th, helping out on the phones, and I've been coming here for a million years. I come here for Valentine's Day, I've come here for Mother's Day, I've come here for Christmas to help them out, but also to kind of get my hands dirty. So I know exactly what consumers are asking and doing. And I was very pleasantly surprised. Our prices went up, and I think of the hundreds of orders I've taken, 1 or 2 people balked about prices. I do want to interject too. What saddened me is I saw a lot of posts where florists decided they weren't going to do Valentine's this day. A lot of florists saying, "Oh my gosh, I can't charge this much, in our community. They'll burn me at the stake." And any of you listening who have gone through our training are probably smiling right now because maybe you are in that small town and you've been flabbergasted at how much more people will spend when they're given the chance to do so. So anybody want to share a story of where maybe you raised prices and you were surprised, where you raised prices and you got negative feedback from customers? Because obviously your costs are going up for labor, for gas, for flowers, for hard goods, and you've got to raise prices. Don, any hands?
No, we're waiting for the hands. Lily, though, a couple of people typed comments in. Lily said she raised prices this year. She didn't have too much pushback, maybe 1 out of 10. Alice raised prices and got no complaints whatsoever.
Right. Good,
Yeah.
good. And that should be the case. We should be able you should be able to make a profit. You should be able to raise your prices the way everyone else around you as a business and you as a consumer is doing. We've all seen prices go up, and we haven't stopped driving, we haven't stopped drinking milk, we haven't stopped eating tacos. We pay more. Here's another topic: trends. Anybody notice any trends with customers? The only trend that I think that I want to share just very quickly is, unlike years past, I saw many more customers ordering early, which was great because that seems to be the brass ring that we all chase in the floral industry. And we kind of did some reverse science on this, and we think it was the combination of people preoccupied with Super Bowl, meaning they were going to be attending parties, getting ready for parties, shopping for food, and not want to deal with flowers. They ordered early. Also, there were reports across North America on various news channels about a shortage of flowers. And I think that maybe scared people and motivated them to shop early. But we definitely saw a much smoother flow of orders, lots of orders starting earlier, which was great. Did anybody else see that trend? I'm curious. What's the group saying, Don?
Lisa says roses trended back up for her. She said she thought they would sell sunflowers, but they didn't sell any. I know we sold quite a bit of them at People's. Tim says they had a lot of increase in designer's choice. Lily, same thing.
Okay, I'm gonna keep going. I want to try to be respectful of everyone's time. Try to keep this to half an hour. What about production? Meaning, how did it go with production? Was your team on point? Were they slower? Did you do anything differently this year that you were able to get orders out quicker? Anything change? Did you use any new sources? Did you change the configuration of your design area to impact production? I know that I had the opportunity to visit a store in Louisiana a couple weeks ago, and we talked about making some radical changes, creating their rose arrangements more in an assembly line fashion than they've done before, positioning it closer to the back door so there'd be less handling of the flowers and enable them to get out the door quicker. So I'll be curious to follow up with that flower shop owner to hear how that went. Let's tackle another topic. What about the website? Anybody notice anything extraordinary? I will interject that here in New Mexico, we had crazy web sales. We had to dial it back and kind of cut off delivery dates and limit what was being offered because we didn't want to disappoint customers and oversell. I think our story is probably indicative of most. The website sales were through the roof, and it really has become another store. Anybody have any stats of where maybe your website, where you compared your web sales Valentine 2022 to Valentine 2021? That'd be interesting. You don't have to give us the dollar amount that you sold, but maybe statistics on how much you were up or down or flat.
Christy shut the website off from 10 to 3. We had lots of add-ons sold. Some people were saying more online than phone sales.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely. I think a lot of us are seeing that, a gradual move and a creep toward shopping online. Something to bear in mind for next year. What about quality?
I do have a hand up from Ramsey who hasn't talked yet. But why don't you go ahead? Ramsey?
We'll come back to him, Don. Don, we'll come back to him. Does anybody have any issues about quality that they want to share? Anybody want to tell us about if they had any issues with the quality of the flowers or the foliage that they got?
Well, while we're, if any hands or comments come, I can tell you we had a lot of roses that we could not use at all that fell apart when we opened them up. From farms too, not just one farm. See anybody commenting on that at all?
Yeah. No. Okay. What
yeah,
about
Chanda raised?
Okay, or so what about delivery?
Chanda, go ahead.
Oh, thanks. Product was better than we've ever seen. It was just
Oh, really?
everything worked so well this year. I'm sitting here just listening to you and everybody and thinking, why do I dread it so much? I think I start dreading Valentine's in January, the stress of making room in the building, getting ready for the volume, making sure people don't get sick, getting meals planned in, having all our containers prepped, all the extra people hired, and you just have to text and I have a dentist appointment or this or that. So it's
Right.
just so much goes into preparing for it. And then when it hit, I kept telling them this is our Super Bowl, and I drew a map. Everybody had stations, everybody flowed, everybody was there, everybody worked well together. The website was a dream. I operated the phones, I fielded all the calls. We had a snowstorm, but the driver still showed up. I kept looking at deliveries. Randy would say, cut it off. And I'd call our web guy and I go, give me 30 more minutes, 30 more. Let's take 30 more minutes worth. And so we were able to step away and really manage and watch it. And the control and the flow was fabulous. Julie and I showed up the next day. We're ready for the typical, we had our box ready for the complaints. I have to knock on wood again. Nothing came in, nothing. So it was just, and then it was a busy day yesterday. Busy and not busy with replacements, busy with more orders. So I don't know. We're just keep trying to say, keep that good karma going and be positive about it. I know there was a lot of grocery stuff happening, a lot of other florists. I saw what they were doing in the beginning, and then I just took my eyes off of it and focused on us. And we just had a happy little world within, and things worked out really well.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. I would have thought maybe you might have had some issues in your neck of the woods, but that's awesome. Thank you, Chanda. Anybody want to share anything about delivery? Did anybody do anything differently this year with delivery? Did anybody maybe use some of the services? We all know that like Grubhub and DoorDash and UPS Roadie are really pushing working with the floral industry. Did anybody do that this year and have an experience, good, bad, or otherwise?
Let's see what she has to say. Maureen? Maureen, you're going to have to unmute yourself.
Sorry. Yeah, I've used our fire chief
last year, I think maybe was the first time he helped us out, and he was happy to help us out again. And the owner that used to own the store that I bought it from, she helped us out as well. So we had great delivery service here.
Okay, good. And we've been talking about the firemen and policemen. This is something we tackled in Valentine boot camp. What I heard and have noticed from flower shops I've been worked with a long time ago was reaching out to the police department and the fire department ahead of the holiday, and seeing if they have any retired members who want to help deliver, because there are people who know the community, even without using GPS, and probably people who are happy to just come on board, help for a couple of hours, and then move on. They're not looking to make a career move. All right, let's keep going. I think one or two more topics. Anybody have any epic experience with out of town? I will tell you that I was sitting at the desk trying to get orders out of town. I was surprised by how many flower shops were taking orders. I'm surprised about how many flower shops have dropped out of the wire services. I'm surprised at how many flower shops weren't taking orders. They wanted an awful lot of money, which is good because it's a discounted order anyway. But in general, we didn't get a lot of out of town business. And the ones that we did, we charged well enough. We charged $100 for roses. We charged plenty for delivery, so I was able to get them out. But did anybody notice a trend? Did anybody just not offer that service at all to their customers? Yes, no, maybe?
No hands, just some comments being typed in.
Okay.
Lily has just FSN, didn't have any trouble getting wire out orders this year.
For sure.
A lower volume than in the past, she says.
Okay. What about discounts? This is something that we've talked about in some of our groups, that historically what we'll do is we'll give customers a discount. We'll say, we'll give you free delivery, we'll give you free chocolate, we'll give you this, we'll give you that if you order early. And I finally took a step back and I thought, why? They should be ordering early anyway. When you go into the Walmart and grocery stores and drugstores, at Christmas time, they're putting out their Valentine candy. So consumers are being reminded about Valentine's Day all the time. Why do we need to give them a discount? And it still doesn't work because they're still bombarding the store on the 13th. So we decided we're going to stop. We stopped doing that here. And I'm curious if anybody else changed their thinking, or for that matter, did you offer some kind of a discount and see good results? Were you able to move customer activity?
So Tracy has raised her hand a few times and I've missed her. Let's see what she has to say for us.
Okay, so I'm Westchester Florist in Westchester, Pennsylvania, and I agree with you on the discounting because we're offering a service. Right. So anybody can go to supermarket and pick up flowers and bring them home to their wife, whatever. So this year what we did was we did scratch offs. And I did a promotion on Instagram and Facebook. So we did $1 Valentine scratch offs, put them in the cards, and then posted it on Instagram and Facebook saying, hey, let us know if you won any money, and then we're doing a raffle, for Mother's Day, for free delivery. So to get that repeat business.
Okay. So they have to work for it.
It was huge success. I mean, I was getting text messages up until like 2 o'clock in the morning of Valentine's Day. Oh, I won $2. I won $4. So it was really a great marketing idea that came to me like last minute on like the 12th of Valentine's Day, but it really helps. So yeah, so we don't discount anything, but we offer promotions.
Perfect. No, I love it. I think that's smart, and I'm gonna steal that for Valentine Bootcamp 2023, but I will give you a generous footnote. How about that? I like the idea. Okay, let's keep going. What about ratings? I mentioned earlier in our session, I had one customer in particular who really just was adamant about giving us the poorest rating possible. He probably would give us a -1 if he could. I guess what I'm curious about is how much do you weight ratings? Are any of you like panicking and getting like TMJ over a customer giving a bad review? Are you taking the time to make a comment on each review? I'm curious how much customer reviews weigh into your awareness about your business in general. Because obviously none of us like to get bad reviews, but it is inevitable. And I will also add that I'm always suspect of a company that has nothing but 5-star reviews. That to me smells a bit fishy. Anything, Don?
Yeah, I have Christy with a hand up.
Okay.
My hand kind of went up for the scratch offs.
Sure.
Please clarify, were the scratch offs lottery scratch offs, or was she able to make scratch offs for her business to where her customers could get $2 off a flower arrangement or something like that? And if so, where in the world did she get those made? I need to know.
I'm going to assume they were lottery tickets, but Don, if you can unmute her again. Or maybe, you know what, Christy, to keep the flow going, we'll get that message typed in. We'll reach out to whoever shared that idea. We'll get clarity. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thanks. No hands up, Don, about the
No.
reviews?
No,
Okay.
sir.
All right. And then finally, what else? Is there anything that anybody wants to share that they did differently this year that was a hit, that they did differently that was a flop? You know, we can also learn from our mistakes. Is if you had the benefit of hindsight, would you have done something differently? And did you make notes so you tackle that next year? Was there a product that you ordered that didn't sell? Was there a product that you already wish you'd ordered 10 times that? I want to get into your heads now while it's still a warm memory, because if I ask you a month from now, it's all blurry. We're already thinking about the next holiday. So if anybody wants to share anything, you can unmute them, Don.
Yep, let's have Bridget talk to us.
Hi, I'm Posey Patch in Michigan. Recently, I went down to my local coffee shop and my local soap and Soul Shine Skin and Soap, and also Healthies. They make smoothies out of healthy stuff, and we partnered up. And I was filling like the coffee shop's tumbler with a small floral arrangement. We offered a Kiss Me Coffee gift card on the top, and that was one of our Valentine specials, to where we were both winning. We also offered like a gift box with all four of us, with gift cards for them, and then I tucked in a small calancho, a small rose, you know, and like a little tea light holder. So it was like a shop local bundle, and we got a few hits on that. So it was like a win-win-win-win for all of us. And we're going to actually continue that as an everyday item for birthdays, anniversaries, whatever. So we partnered up as a local group, shop small business, and it's really going to be a good thing. I posted on our local Facebook, Insta, where we've been getting a lot of nice hits on it. So that was just something, you know, different.
Really smart idea. Thank you. We have time for one more hand.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bridget. We have time for one more hand, Don.
Hey, go ahead, Lisa. Lisa.
Hi. So you were asking about what went well and what didn't as far as inventory. I always, the night of or the next day, I always sit down and take a note of what we have left over. The thing that I found this year was the spray roses weren't a great quality, and the stock. So I've made a note to myself, I'm not going to bring those in the way that I brought them in this year, because they just weren't worth the money that I was paying for them. But on the other side of it, I brought in way too many, I thought, lilies, and we ended up pretty much selling out. So I figure it was a win-win on that.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Lessons learned. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you for giving us your time this afternoon, giving us your feedback. As I said, we'll craft this into kind of a grand report, bullet points that will help all of us to have an even better Valentine's Day next year. And hopefully we can use some of this in the short term at Mother's Day. Next up, what I want to do is share my contact information. If you want to talk to me separately or privately, or after this session you realize, oh darn it, I wanted to ask this or wanted to mention that, reach out and we'll give you a day or two before we compile our final figures and report. What we'll do is we'll email to you the copy of the recording and then follow up with detailed notes about the smart ideas and anecdotes and stories that everybody heard today. And for those of you that aren't on board with us yet, by all means, let's start working together. Let's increase your average sale. I don't have a crystal ball. However, I don't know if all of these high sales and big spending is going to continue. I think 2022 may hold some rude awakenings for us, and the best way to be prepared for that is to have your team in tip-top shape, upselling, giving excellent customer service, helping customers to spend more, and that's what we do here at Floral Strategies. So thank you everybody for your time. We look forward to seeing you on the next webinar. Be safe, and we'll see you at Mother's Day Boot Camp. Take care.